Hey guys, welcome to Batt Farms. My name is Emily, and today we're going to begin a series called the Fiber Fridays series. So what we're going to do today is, after projects, you always end up with a bunch of scrapped yarn. What we're going to do is we're going to take this scrap yarn and make a bat out of it so it could be respun into a funky art yarn. So this is the Fancy Kitty Little Tom XL drum carder. It is motorized, that's a blessing. So we're going to be using this to blend my, I pre-carded a fiber bat. So I took some fiber, I threw it through the carder just to blend it all together. So we're going to feed this into my carder. We're going to add our scrap yarns. Run it through a few times to get it nice and incorporated, and then it will be ready to be spun. The base layer of fiber down before I start adding my scrap yarns. All right, tidbit, there you go, tidbit. When you go to use your carder, if you're using raw fiber, meaning it has come off the sheep, you've washed it yourself and it's raw locks, this has to go slower. If you are buying commercial top or commercial roving, it is already extremely processed. You could have it at a faster speed, in my experience. I'm gonna run a little bit more fiber through just to get a decent sized base layer. There's a decent amount on here already. And then I will start adding my yarn scraps. Okay, so we're at the point where there's a decent base layer. Now I'm going to start adding my scrap yarns. I have them cut anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches in length. You don't want them too long because you're going to be going ahead and spinning with them. I have my carder going very slow when I start adding them, but basically I take some of my yarns. I kind of ball them up and pinch them in my fingers. Place and flick. Just enough for the teeth to grab. So as I'm flicking the yarns into my drum or onto my drum, I want them fairly evenly dispersed and not all in one big old clump. Now I do have a decent amount on here so far, so I'm going to take my burnishing brush, which I have to go get, pack down my yarns, and then put another layer of fiber on. That's the next step. All right, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna take my burnishing brush, pack down these little yarn fibers, and then get another layer of fiber on. And it's basically, we're doing like a layered cake. It'll be fiber, yarn scraps, fiber, yarn scraps, until my drum is full. We'll take it off, run it through one more time, which will help separate them even further before we can then go ahead and spin it. Done. I'm going to be pulling this off. I pull it off from the back side to go with the grain of the teeth opposed to against it. I'm going to use my little doffing hook, and my carder came with a little, it looks like a dental tool, to get some of the additional stubborn fibers off of this guy. And I actually use a dog brush to help aid in getting my batt off the drum. So, take my hook. And this is where I come in with my little brush. Because I'm a no fiber left behind kind of girl. Okay, so as you can tell, this is very layered. And what's going on right now is you could see the yarn is in clumps. So if you left it just like this and spun it up as you're spinning, you will come across where you hit the clump of yarn and you'll just get a big old knotted up mess of that. So we're gonna run it through one more time on the carder, and it will help just disperse that nice. So that way when you do go to spin, there will be a more even disbursement of the yarn bits. I'm gonna feed it in the same, and it will just like elongate and stretch it out, so that way it's not like, because if you see here now that I started pulling it apart, you could tell better how it's just like potch, 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 potch. So, and it's layered. So as it goes back through, it will just elongate it and have it, it'll just be a nicer spin. Also, as I'm gonna be feeding this through, I'm gonna be taking smaller tidbits because it is a whole lot thicker now. As you saw earlier, if you put feed too much into your drum carder all at once, it will jack with the motor, but it will also like clump onto the big drum just because it's just too much for the drum carder to handle. So I will be rolling this bad boy out in smaller increments. I don't know if you guys noticed before, but as I was feeding in the fiber onto the drum carder, I left probably a solid inch on either side of my drum as free space. You don't want to pack, I mean you can, but you don't want to pack your fiber all the way to the ends, because the fiber will then fall off and it will get all caught up in the axle, I don't know what you call it. It'll get all up in the gears and stuff. So I have a tendency to not pack my fiber all the way from end to end. Yeah, so on this carder, it has a like a brass plate that's in the middle that you use for your hook. So that way you're not getting all up in the teeth. You don't want to bend your teeth, so you just come along the brass seam. Done. So what we have here is our finished product. It is definitely, you could tell that the yarns are more displaced, which will make for a more even spin when we go to turn this into yarn. So I'm done. If you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're seeing, give us a thumbs up. Next week, we will be spinning up this bad boy, so that way I can show you what scrap yarn looks like. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions for content, please comment down below, and yeah, I'll see you next week. I'm so awkward. Big ol' Batt.
Shush.
You're so dumb.
I'm so pretty.
And dummy. The back. Come in.
What do you have in here?
Alright, well then this would not be the fiber for you. We would use like
Ah! Oh, bad.
that's
Oh, man.
that's karma.
Oh. I feel like the drum.
Now I gotta tell you, it hurts his soul when I work with my fiber because it gets everywhere
Oh, goodness.
and it just sticks all over him. So this is comedic justice is what this is.
God. Oh, that's nasty.
Oh, that's funny. So, I'm gonna take this bad boy.
No, it's in my
Now
mouth.
you can tell.
Hold on.
I think it close.
Start over. Back up.
That was historical.